Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hardwood Nation podcast with your boy CL Anthony and my main man Bryce Ward. Bryce, what is going on, my man?
Well, not much, man. Just enjoying this slight cool weather we have right now in Florida this last week, and just glad to be here talking basketball. The usual. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. As always, nice try. As always, we got some shit to get into today. But first, I have to ask you, what
Mm.
is that disgusting shit on your head? What is that?
Oh, you
The
know what that
fuck?
blue is. You know what that blue is.
What the fuck is that?
I got some new gear for myself for Christmas, and this is one of the things I got. So I'm breaking it in.
Okay. All right.
I'm
I'm
breaking
gonna have
it
to
in.
mail some heat stuff to your home. That's what I'm gonna have to do.
Yeah, I guess you want to see some shit on fire. It's been too long since you saw heat jerseys on fire.
Touche on that one. Good comeback.
You,
Touche.
you get me a Chalmers jersey. I'll wear it every podcast.
And I'm going to tell you something. It's cute that you said that about the last time I saw a Heat jersey on fire, because we're
Mm.
actually going to touch on that today. So, with that said, yeah, you don't know what's
I,
coming
I,
now.
I tell you what. You buy me a jersey, I'll buy you a LeBron James Heat jersey. We'll call it even.
With that, I would never in my life wear LeBron James
I
jersey.
know.
Okay,
I know.
boy. There was once. I promise, guys, we're going to get into it. There was once I had to wear a Michael Jordan jersey because I lost the bet to my cousin. So
Mm.
let me set the stage for this. The Rockets were playing the Bulls, okay? So I had my Charles Barkley jersey. He had his Michael Jordan jersey. I'm like, okay, whoever wins, we're gonna have to wear each other's jersey. And the Bulls actually beat the Rockets. So the next day I had to wear the Chicago Bulls jersey. So that was disgusting. Let me say that.
I would like to have
All
been there. I knew that ate you up.
right. All my friends got a kick out of it because they knew how much I hated Michael Jordan back in the day.
Yeah.
So the first thing we're gonna get into today, before our main topic, is the NBA has reinstated Draymond Green after 3 weeks, really, kind of two and a half, 3 weeks, which was a total of 12 games. So my prediction of 10 games was off by a couple. My question for you is, because this broke yesterday afternoon, apparently, when I was sleeping. So my question to you is, what do you think about the NBA's swift reinstatement of Draymond Green that again totaled 12 games? And once you give me your initial thoughts, and I will read the official statement from the league on it.
I'm sure whatever therapy or counseling that Draymond got. How long's Draymond been in the league now?
God, I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's 12 years at least.
Well, I'm sure the 3 weeks of counseling was enough to wipe away 10 to 12 years worth of fucking crazy emotional behavior. I'm sure Draymond learned a lot and now he's grown as a person. He'll never do anything like this ever again.
And you're able to get, I
It's
call
just a
bullshit
little,
on this.
yeah, it's a little slap on the wrist. I don't
Right.
know. I don't know. Like, I just don't know what the NBA is expecting for like a 3 week sabbatical. Like, I just don't know. I don't know what to think of it. I just don't see much coming from it. Real I just don't see a person who's had this long of a track record, showing that much progress in a 2 to 3 week period. I don't know what the NBA was expecting to see from this. It's just like it doesn't sound. I don't know. It just sounds very very kind of soft, considering Draymond has a very long track record of this. I'm not saying it needed to be a half a season or however many games like maybe Ja got, and you thought. I mean, we both agreed maybe Ja should have been have a longer suspension, but I don't know, man. It just seems like a slap on the wrist. It doesn't seem real. But to be honest, I don't know how long Draymond's got in the league anyway, so I don't know. It's
Well,
fine.
he got 4 years
Mm.
because he
Oh yeah.
just signed the extension in the offseason.
Mm.
His money's guaranteed, so even if they cut him and he goes somewhere on a vet minimum deal, he'll still get this other money that's owed to him. Um,
Maybe
I
he
I
would help
knew
Golden State start winning again.
I knew this was gonna happen. People get I'm trying to see how I can say this. People get impressed by the word indefinite because they think it's going to be like a long time. But no, an indefinite doesn't necessarily mean a long time. And that's why in our last discussion about it, I said they need to put a number on this because indefinite will give them a way to make a soft verdict, you know. Um, so I never thought that they were going to come down hard on him once I saw indefinite because I knew they were going to pussy out on it. I just knew it. And he has some people on his side in very high places, Andre Iguodala, but that may have helped him in this situation as well. Let me just say that. If you know, you know. Um, but no, he should have got. If Ja got 25 games for being an idiot but not assaulting anyone, Draymond Green should have at least got 25 games. I'm just saying he should have at least got 25 games for the multitude of bullshit he's done, which could have physically harmed someone. So, with that said, here's what the league had to say about it. Green, speaking of Draymond, completed steps that demonstrated his commitment to conforming his conduct to standards expected of NBA players. He has engaged in meetings with a counselor and has met jointly on multiple occasions with representatives of the NBA, the Warriors, and the National Basketball Players Association, Andre Iguodala, both of which will continue throughout the season. The group meetings, which were done via video calls, also included Green's agent, Rich Paul, Warriors GM, Mike Dunleavy, and team trainer, Rick Celebrini. And let's see. And that was a part of certain league and team conditions that he had to fulfill before his reinstatement. So I mean, at least they mentioned a counselor. I mean, he talked to somebody, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But it was complete and other bullshit, like I thought it was going to be. All right. So, and it's not often where I see you like not have anything to say because you were kind of like, what the fuck are they doing? You're like, come on, NBA.
Yeah. Yeah. Half measure.
Yeah. So, our next topic is the Los Angeles Lakers. Since winning the bullshit ass NBA in season tournament and raising the banner like they won a real championship and shit, the Lakers have gone on to lose 8 of 10 games. There's all kinds of rumors going around now that the players are blaming the coach. He's not good enough, yada, yada, yada. And keep in mind, this is literally, again, 3 weeks after winning this in season tournament. What are your thoughts on the Lakers, who we both thought had a very good offseason? I thought they had the best offseason as far as talent. So what is it that's going on? Because I mean, they have the talent, they have the bench. What do you think?
Well, it's a long NBA season. Teams make adjustments. Um, LeBron James are still putting up amazing stats. He isn't quite. He doesn't. I would say that those stats are a little more empty in terms of impact compared to what they used to be. Um,
Mm,
but also, I mean continuity. These things go a long way. Team chemistry, the locker room, like we're not privy to all these things. But I do just think that the league has adjusted to this team and there's just nothing crazy going on. So it's just LeBron and AD can do their thing, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's the rest of the team that seems to be the issue, and it's just there's not. I don't think there's a lot of moves the Lakers can make or even need to make because I just don't see them. I don't think they're going to the finals, and so it's like I don't picture them or I don't see them doing anything major being able to change that this season. So my whole thing is like maybe they should help they should try to build a little more continuity and retool with some of the bench and stuff next year instead of shaking, like trying to go for that home run trade every season like LeBron tries to do. It seems like the last minute. I also, it's the Lakers. Um, a G League call up could be posted on an ESPN article because it's the Lakers. Like they just don't they had a good off season, but with the way the last few seasons have gone, they really needed to show something. I feel like this season, and it started off okay. But like I said, it just seems like they don't have enough firepower, and the rest of the league's kind of figured it out. And I mean, their two best players are on the older side. I just think it's a not great recipe in terms of competing for a championship. So I don't know if there's a lot the Lakers can do this season. Um, you know, they're going to be in their feelings because I don't see this getting too much better as the season goes on. Like there's only so many different ways that team can go about the rest of the season. And I don't know if they fire the coach. I know there's been rumors they're not happy with him. I think that'll ultimately be left to the like whether or not LeBron James decides he doesn't want him. Of course, we've seen Bronny get rid of a few coaches, though. I just don't know if that fixes anything, especially this season. So I don't know if they do that. I don't know. They're a bit of a mess considering the talent they have and considering the expectations. So personally, though, I anytime the Lakers aren't winning, I'm excited. I love seeing the Lakers lose. And, I know I'm in the minority of that. I know their fan base is very large, but Lakers fans are in their feelings. I think the players are in their feelings. The coach feels like he's on the hot seat. I'm sure it's not a good look for the Lakers right now. And I don't know. I don't know if they can pull off anything big. I don't even know if it's worth it this year. I just don't know. I think they're in a bad holding spot where they're not the worst team, but they're definitely not contending for a title this season.
Right now, as we record this, the Lakers are out of the play-in. Golden State has gotten into the play-in. The Lakers are out of the play-in, just by half a game right now. This is what I'll say about the Lakers. Usually, you have either LeBron hurt for a while or Anthony Davis hurt for a while, and they struggle through the regular season. It's rare when you have both of those guys healthy and both of those guys playing well because Anthony Davis is putting up numbers. I don't think he's getting a lot of pull from it because I just think people are waiting for him to get hurt again. But Anthony Davis is actually having a low key great season. And LeBron is being LeBron. Those two guys alone should be able to get you to the conference finals, which is where they got last year. Okay. Um, so I think now you have the smoke of Darvin Ham's job security, which Darvin Ham played in the league almost 10 years, so he knows the deal. So I don't think he's rattled by that, but I think the fact that stories are leaking out that he's lost the locker room, that the players are tuning him out, we know how those leaks get out. We know LeBron's MO by now. We know how we know how this goes, right? I do believe the Lakers need to get the point guard position steady. They recently benched D'Lo. They got Gabe Vincent from Miami there, but he's out with an injury, so that's not helping them out. So I think they need to fix the point guard situation one, and they just need to play perimeter defense because they're getting lit up at the 3-point line. Um, there's no trades they can make right now. The only option on the table is to get rid of Darvin Ham,
Mm.
and a year and a half into his coaching tenure with them, I don't think that's the move to make. But clearly, something's not right because, like I said, your impact players are healthy. Um, your bench is good. everyone needs a point guard. So I'm not even going to hold that against him. But something's not right. If Darvin Ham has lost the locker room, there's no coming back from it. But there's no way he should have lost the locker room a year and a half into the job when last year they had a Western Conference Finals berth, which no one was beating Denver last year. And
Mhm.
then this year they won the in-season tournament. So it's just like it all went downhill from that in-season tournament. Just went downhill for them. And I don't know why he would have lost the locker room. I'm hearing it's because of rotations and things of that nature. But
Mm.
when you have a healthy team, everyone can't play. This is the way it goes. Like, come on. So here's another thing that's coming up that we haven't talked about yet. And we're going to get into some NBA trade rumors and free agent moves and stuff like that. Way too early NBA trade rumors and free agent moves. LeBron had a 1-to-1 contract, which means LeBron can be a free agent this offseason. If everything goes well, this next NBA draft is going to have Bronny in it. Okay. So LeBron has stated two things. One, he's going to end his career with Bronny. Two, he's going to end his career when he's 40. LeBron James just turned 39. Everything is lining up for next season to possibly be LeBron's last year. And we don't know where LeBron's going to go because it's going to come down to whoever drafts Bronny. Right or wrong, if Bronny is an NBA level talent, right or wrong, I can't be mad at a father for using everything he has to push his son into the spotlight. I can't be mad at that. So my question for you is, do you think this could be LeBron's last year in Los Angeles?
Hmm. Maybe. And it might. I'll also say though, maybe that won't be next season. Won't be his final year because he's also recently, and I say recently in the last like year or so, mentioned that I think he's even held up better than he thought, and he's even
Mhm.
thrown the thought out there that he would like to maybe try to play with Bryce as well, and that's a few more seasons out for sure. So I'm gonna say I'm like 50-50 on whether if I'm 50-50 on whether or not next season will be his final season, and if that's the case in his head, then I'm 50-50 on whether or not he stays in LA this season. Because if he's going to keep playing, then even though he wants to play with his son, I just don't know if he leaves LA. Um, if he leaves the door open for another season or two, then he might wait to play with Bronny for the final season. I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic just because of what he's come out and said. It's an interesting retirement when it does happen. So I don't know. I don't know. He's said a couple different things, so it's hard to get a real gauge on where he's going to be at. Um, I'm just gonna say I wait and see. I give it 50-50 stays with the Lakers. I give it 50-50 that he even retires after next season. So we'll see.
He has a 3-year window, which would put him at 2. I don't think he's going to play till he's 42. But the reason why there's a 3-year window is because the NBA is looking to have that team in Vegas, I believe, at 2027, and they're
Mm.
looking at having LeBron James be, at, in some shape or form. Hey, he's not going to be the majority owner, but he can be a minority owner. And so whoever they grant the team to has to start putting the ownership group together, which he can't do while LeBron is
Mhm.
an active player. Okay, so the clock is ticking just a little bit. Excuse me, because like I said, they're going to try to get that thing done by 2027. With him staying with the Lakers generally having good seasons, they won't necessarily have high draft picks. And I think some other team would swoop in and try to draft Bronny just so they could get LeBron James on the team, right? There's a lot that could go on here. So let's just throw a team out. Atlanta could try to draft Bronny. Now, will Bronny force his way out? Who knows, right? We've kind of seen stuff like that happen before. So I think it's fascinating to think of the possibility of what's going to happen next draft. Next draft is going to have all eyes on where Bronny James lands because, like I said, I
It'll be
just
one of
can't
the
see
few
him.
drafts where the attention might be more on Bronny than whatever the first round pick is. Just
Right.
because you're not picking Bronny, you're picking LeBron James for a season.
Right. Exactly. So it's like, dude,
But
I
also, you're
haven't.
picking up a draft pick for possibly one season. Does
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
do people do are teams going to sacrifice that?
To put asses in the seats. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Think of somebody like Charlotte, okay, who's having a problem putting asses in the seats. Yeah, they would do it. Yeah, get
Be
the
one
fuck
of
out
the
of here.
funniest things ever. See LeBron James in a Hornets jersey.
Or the Wizards. I'm telling you, like the
Also, we
door
don't
of
know how far we don't pay attention like that. We don't know how good Bronny is. We don't know how far he could technically fall in this draft. I mean, he could literally land anywhere.
I know he's playing point guard. The Lakers need a point guard. I know that.
Mm.
Um,
The Knicks get him or Boston gets him. Oh man,
this is what I'm gonna tell you.
Boston gets him.
I know 100% unequivocally that one team is already scouting Bronny. Now I'm assuming other teams are scouting him too, but I already know unequivocally that one team is scouting Bronny James, and that team is the Miami Heat. And when I heard this yesterday, I was like, "Oh God, no, not again!" I was like, I can't do it. I can't have him in Miami. I can't do it again. I don't want no parts of it. But the Heat are eyeing the situation.
He's at USC. He's at a good school. I'm sure he's getting scouted by a
Yeah.
lot of teams. But yeah, that'd be
So
funny.
when you brought up the Jersey thing, I was like, yeah, we're gonna talk about this because when I heard it yesterday, um, I mean, it's not like the kid didn't live in Miami either. The kid kind of grew up there for 4 years, so I get it. Or even Cleveland could make a play for Bronny. So I I think if Cleveland or Miami would do it, LeBron would be fine going there. If any other team would do it, I think that would cause chaos. Okay. I think would absolutely cause chaos. Um, so to get into another trade rumor, we saw Toronto get rid of OG for RJ Barrett, which was a homecoming for Barrett. I don't think OG is going to move the needle too much in New York, even though New York's on a nice little winning streak right now. But now they're looking at moving Siakam as well, and I think it's going to be Dallas. And I know we kind of talked about this yesterday, but do you think Siakam would help Dallas move the needle a little bit?
Um, yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, Low key, Dallas is having a better season than I thought they were gonna have. Um, I thought, I know Kyrie's missed some time, but I thought that they would still have problems working together. But Luka is kind of having I mean, not low key, but he's having a phenomenal season. And they're winning some games. So, um, I think bringing in a guy like Siakam, he really could help them. It's a different dynamic than what they currently have. Um, I like that move if I'm Dallas. And it seemed like there was a lot of, I mean, the names on Dallas that are pretty popular. I can say it seems like it's Luka, it's Kyrie, and then you have Tim Hardaway Jr. Right?
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was starting to space on the name. Now to get Siakam is Hardaway Jr. on the way out because that seems like maybe it makes the most sense. But like I said, if I'm Dallas, I think I make that move. Um, I just think it makes Dallas a more diverse team, a more complicated team to deal with.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Yeah.
So I wasn't expecting that, but if I'm Dallas, I do that. Tim Hardaway Jr. is great, but I just think he's more of a one-sided player. He's more specifically an offensive, a three-point specialist, you could say too. And I would prefer to have Siakam. He just brings more to the table. And when you already have Kyrie and you have Luka, I think Pascal fits the team better. So if I'm Dallas, I want to make that move. Toronto's blowing everything up, take advantage of it. Um, yeah, I think that's a good move for Dallas.
You guys heard it first here, so definitely give us our credit, give us our flowers if this trade goes down. Um, there's something else brewing that we talked about last week, actually, and it's brewing strongly that Miami's going to make a move for Donovan Mitchell. Um, my initial thoughts on it is, and as I told you before, Mitchell had a chance to come to Miami. He didn't feel like he could deal with Jimmy Butler. Um, because of that, I don't know how I feel about this. Because I know Jimmy's tough, Jimmy's hard to get along with, but Jimmy is Jimmy. He's not going to change, and that's how the whole team is. Not just Jimmy. Bam's the same way. So I don't know if I want someone on the team that I guess doesn't want to face the demands that the Heat would put on him. From a basketball standpoint, we would give up Kyle Lowry, maybe Duncan Robinson for Mitchell. How do you think? Do you think Mitchell would help Miami move the needle?
Um, on paper, I would say definitely. Um, I mean, you guys have had, despite regular season up and downs, you guys have had a lot of playoff experience. A lot of playoff victories this last few seasons. I do think Mitchell can definitely help you guys. Um, I don't know how long he would last there if he really did it. I just don't see him when he's there. It's one of those things where everything built up in our head always seems worse than what the actual problem is, and when you get there, it's not as bad as you think. I think once if Mitchell gets there, I think the tone would kind of be different anyways in terms of what he's expecting. I don't think it's if that's what he's worried about, I don't think it's going to be as bad as he's thinking it's going to be. So I definitely think if you're the Heat, you make that push and get him. It might be one of the final real pieces of the puzzle if you want to be a title contender, because I think the Heat are good, but I don't know if they're good enough to beat Denver in a 7 game series again. Still, I don't know if they're good enough to beat Boston in a 7 game series this season. It'd be close. I know you guys have had a lot of back and forth the last few seasons, but Boston's really good this year, so we'll see. But I mean, I would want Mitchell. If I think the Heat should go after him. I think it does move the needle. I think he's an impact player, especially on the offensive end. And I think the Heat play a style and an intensity on defense all the time that even can hide some of the not so great defensive guys you have. So it, I would want him on the Heat if I was there or if I was a fan. It just depends what you give up. But if you get Mitchell, what does this do? Because you've always had this opinion that's like maybe this is the last year of this current Heat team. You got Jimmy, you got Bam, we got Hero. Those are your big three. It hasn't quite gotten you over the top yet in terms of winning a championship. In the window, you said what? You got 3 to 5 years usually, 3 to 4 years, something like
Yes.
that.
Yeah, this is year 5.
Yeah. So you're coming to the end of the road. If you land Mitchell, is it just a soft reboot, or do you
It's a
go ahead
soft.
and ship out the players, the rest of the players, the next season, and you pick like 2 guys you stick with? Like, what's the plan if you do land Mitchell and you say you don't win the championship again, but you land Mitchell?
If you theoretically, and no way am I comparing Donovan Mitchell to Jimmy Butler. It's just no, no way am I doing that. But if we land Mitchell, that would take a lot more pressure off of Jimmy. Okay. Um, Same as if we would have got Dame, which I'm going to get into that very soon today. Um, so from an offensive standpoint, we know he'll get you buckets. From a defensive standpoint, is um, but it would be a soft reset, especially if we can keep Tyler and then keep Bam, even though Bam's looking for a supermax, which he deserves. Um, I don't think that they would necessarily have to blow it up if we land Mitchell. If we
Hmm.
don't land Mitchell, then yeah, you're gonna have to make some changes. But because like I said, this is year 5. Jimmy's already missing time this year, of course, but Jimmy usually misses about 20 games a year. Um, but I just don't know if Mitchell has that dog in him. I don't, and what I mean by that is because he's had some good playoff performances, more so when he was in Utah. But I don't know if he has that dog that Miami likes. Does he have that
But
Wade killer
If
instinct?
Jimmy and Bam are there, and the whole team's culture is already there, as long as you have, as long as you don't have a guy who's constantly pushing back against it, and you're bringing him in to score, you have Jimmy Butler there, the ultimate dog of dogs, you could call him.
Yeah,
Do you really need another one?
yeah.
Like,
I need
is it
everybody.
okay? I'm just saying, like, with what's out there, is there another player who's a realistic option? Because listen, you're not
Hmm.
going to win a championship with this team. I don't believe it. I believe you can make it far, but I don't
Wow,
think you can beat Denver. I don't think you can
wow,
beat Boston.
wow.
I
So
think it
so
can
us
be
beating
close.
Boston two of the so for us beating Boston 2 of the last 3 years,
Just
for
ain't
us
saying
beating
Boston.
for it doesn't matter. All they got is Porzingis and he's soft too.
That's
As
fine.
as far as us beating Milwaukee 2 out of the last 3 years, you still wouldn't give us the mental edge over those teams? Still.
Mental edge, maybe. Yes. I'm not
Wow.
saying no. I'm not saying no.
Wow.
Boston's just real talented. So I don't know. I
They were
don't know.
talented last year.
And they beat you the year before. So
They
y'all
did.
went back and forth.
They did, but
So
let's be clear. Game 7, because you're not going to throw this bullshit at me. I'm going to stop you right there. Game 7 in Boston, the ball in Jimmy Butler's hand with 2 seconds left to hit a three to win the game. He missed the shot, and we know that year you admitted this too. You saw the most gross officiating that you've ever seen in your life. So no, you're not going to hit me with that bullshit because we should have beaten them 3 years in a row. Let's just be clear on that.
I just
All
haven't seen you guys make it over the final hump yet. It's
that's
been
fine,
one thing
but
or another.
Boston's not
There's
that hump,
injuries.
right?
I know, but
Boston's
I
not that
also
hump.
think they're playing with a different chip on their shoulder this season as well. They have looked different. I know it's regular season. They have looked more confident this season. Milwaukee, I'll give it to you. They're figuring things out. They took a step back on defense. You could argue, but and I'll still give you guys the mental edge over both those teams. I'm just saying, in a 7 game series, a lot can happen.
That's fine.
Um, I just don't know, like with a premier scorer like Mitchell and with everything else you guys have. This is what I was getting at. Is like I just don't know if there's another guy out there that piques your interest as much after missing out on Dame. Is there another move out there that would interest you over Mitchell? Because if not, the Mitchell trade is fine. Like he's coming in there to do one thing, to get buckets. You have the rest of the team to build up the rest of the locker room dynamic, the culture, the heat culture, as you guys call it. You got Jimmy, you got Bam. I don't think you lose. I think you gain more than you lose by having Mitchell there. That's how I would look at it. There's more positive than negative.
You know why Boston's playing better this year? You know why? You ready for this?
Yeah, hit me with it. Let's see what you got.
Jason Tatum is actually passing the ball. That's why Boston's winning.
Okay, so what's the difference? Because he's always had high assist numbers. So what's the
Not
difference?
necessarily. Not
Is it who
necessarily.
he's passing to? I've
Not
had him in
necessarily.
fantasy. He gets assist numbers too. I'm just
He
saying,
gets you
like,
he gets you 6 or 7. That's what he gets you. But he's making smart passes, and he's not jacking up as many shots as he used to. So again, you have numbers and then you have the eye test, right? He's actually going on record to say it's not about his scoring anymore, which telling me that he's actually now maturing a little bit. He's not out there jacking up shots like he's Kobe because he'll never be Kobe.
Mhm.
But now he's making an extra pass. You get what I'm saying? He's not necessarily looking for his shot. So that's the biggest change in Boston this year. And then Porzingis has been solid. Now, with that said, I got a text yesterday from Nick and Kenny, and the text was Lillard has been a disappointment in Milwaukee so far? Question mark. Is this a fair statement? Question mark. So I watched a lot of Milwaukee this year. I've watched a lot of Milwaukee for the last 5 years. God knows it. Dame is putting up Dame numbers. So again, stats versus eye test. But there are a lot of times where Dame's checking out. So like he'll bullshit his way through most of the game, and then he'll have like an explosive fourth quarter, right?
Mhm.
So right now he's averaging 25, which is good, 7 assists, 4 rebounds. So he's getting his numbers. Man, he don't look happy on that court. He don't look happy at all. Um, and I know he has some off court issues going on as well. And that's what I told the boys. I said, hey, one, he wanted Miami. Two, he's going through a divorce. Dude, he just doesn't look happy, man. I don't know how this is gonna end. Like,
Mhm. Well,
because I see,
let's be honest. Like he did lay down what he wanted. Milwaukee took a chance. They
mhm,
swung. They got him. They were never guaranteed for how long.
right.
So that's like you said. These things are weighing on. Let me tell you something too. Where uh, I work. I'm in a warehouse in the morning. There's lots of other guys there. When a guy's home life is not right, in terms of the wife, whatever you have going on, I mean, they bring that shit to work with them. So I'm just saying, whether or not he's happy in Milwaukee or not, I think some of this his home life situation could bleed over no matter what team he's at. You know what I mean? But we kind of knew this could be a rental going into it. So he could still end up in Miami. He could end up somewhere else. We just don't know. Wilder things have happened. But if he's dealing with a divorce and he's in a city that he didn't necessarily want to be in, um, he's kind of like doing all you could kind of ask. But if you're a Bucks fan, you're not seeing the real effort there all the time. It could be definitely disappointing, and it sucks because I mean they gave up some of what they were known for in their defensive presence with Drew Holiday
Mhm.
to. And so if the extra offensive burst from Dame isn't enough to get them back to where they were, then I mean it's a disappointing trade, and it's like it sucks because bringing in a high profile guy like Dame, you would think would move the needle, but with Milwaukee already being successful, like I mentioned earlier, continuity with teams and the locker room goes a long way, and when guys aren't out there with the right attitude, it can really take away from the team as a whole. So Milwaukee swung for the fences. I don't see them winning a championship either now, this season. I just don't think they have it, and so um, and I could still really see I see Dame leaving, and so overall, it looks like Milwaukee really took a good swing. I just think ultimately it's going to prove to not be the greatest move for Milwaukee long term, and I hope Dame can figure out exactly for sure how and where he wants to go, and I hope he gets there. And I hope everything ends up good for him because you don't wish that home situation, a divorce. You don't really wish that on anybody. It's a terrible situation. But I do know guys bring that stuff to work with them as hard as they try not to. So maybe once that's over with, Dame can get his head right, and maybe it won't matter where he's at. You can see the turn in the effort in his play. But right now, it seems like Milwaukee's still figuring it out with him. He's not. I mean, they lost some defense. I just don't know. I just don't know if it really moved the needle too much like they were hoping it did. Other than convincing Giannis to sign, because if that was the goal, you won. The Bucks
Oh,
made the right move. They got Giannis to sign. Okay.
he signed way too early.
Mhm.
Um, he signed way too early. So here's the last 5 games for Dame. I'm just gonna go into his because we know he's a sniper, so I'm gonna go into his field goal percentage and then his 3-point percentage. Last 5 games, okay. 56% field goal. Next game, 18%. Next game, 33%. Next game, 52%. And then the last game, 31%. So 2 great games and 3 stinkers from field goal range, field goal percentage.
So what? He's probably in the mid 40s or something, or mid to high
Overall,
40s.
probably 42-ish overall.
Okay.
So 3-point percentage, the last 5 games, 33, 11, 25, 16, and 12. So he
Man,
is stinking.
Jalen Suggs is shooting better than Dame.
He is stinking it up.
Hmm.
Which he shooters go through this. So he's sticking it
Yeah.
up right now. But when you go through things like this where you're having a shooting slump, you have to do other things, right?
Hmm.
Here's his assist numbers: 4, 5, 5, 10, and 8. So his assists are trending up just a little bit. They're trending up there. Milwaukee went from a top 10 defense to a bottom 10 defense. Now that's not all of Dame's fault that they went
Hmm.
from top 10 to bottom. I'm not gonna put all of that on him, but their guys are getting older, their others are getting older. Um, of course, Dame doesn't play defense. Their bench isn't that good. So by virtue of Giannis and by virtue of Dame hitting timely shots, they're still one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. I do believe they can be clipped by Boston, by Indiana, who has shown that they give no fucks about Milwaukee this year. I'm loving it too. And then of course Miami can beat Milwaukee.
Philly. You could argue Philly.
Huh? Oh
You
yeah,
could
yeah,
argue
Philly too.
Philly too.
Yeah, Philly too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If, when Embiid feels like playing, I know he did play last night.
You also got to think if we're talking playoffs, all these guys should get up for the playoffs. Let's be real. Even if you're, look, I'm just saying, if you're checking out during regular season, you should at least be engaged in the playoffs. I'm not saying he will be. I'm just saying you would hope so.
So the last question I would ask you is, since you brought up the possible rental, and I'm not saying he's gonna go to Miami because if we get Mitchell, we ain't gonna be able to shake that. Um, if the if Dame leaves Milwaukee in this offseason, do you think it's a big blow for the Bucks? Even though Giannis signed the extension, do you think it's a big blow for Milwaukee? Like, how do you replace him?
Well, it just depends. Like I said, what you get back. It's not like
I mean, he could walk. Like, they don't have to get back anything.
I also think Milwaukee's not like the bottom of the barrel. They still have Giannis. There
Mhm.
will be somebody who wants to play for Milwaukee. I don't think they will have. I'm not saying they're going to get another Dame or something like that, but they might be able to find a solid point guard. I mean, it's not like Holiday was the flashiest guy. He's just one of the best defenders in the league. So I mean, I'm not saying that's easy to replace either. I'm just saying maybe they didn't need the Dame type player at that position anyways.
Mhm.
And in terms of replacing a point guard, you can do that. You can do it when you have Giannis on the team. Like you're a destination for some players just because Giannis is on the team. Um, so I
I don't know if I subscribe to that though, because one, they're capped out. Two, when was the last time they signed a free agent?
would they be capped out if Dame left? Because doesn't
They was still because they're
his
over now.
contract
Yeah,
just open up?
they're over now. So they would have to get rid of either Brook, which because remember they just re-signed Brook again this past year, and Middleton. Middleton may come off in a couple of years. So they would have to move two of those guys to have some cap space to sign, like a top tier free agent.
Yeah, it might not. It would probably be a second tier point guard or something. Then I mean, it's just they'll kind of have their hands tied maybe this season a little bit, and they might downgrade or something if Dame walks. But I mean, that's only one season, and it's still not like they're going to be bottom of the barrel. I'm just saying, like, I don't see them going far enough. I just kind of see them in this position probably for the next few seasons, depending on what Dame does, because I think despite losing Dame, if you get the right guy in there at guard, I don't see them losing a ton of games because of that, I guess. Because I don't think on that team, I think I'm coming to the conclusion that Dame might just be putting up empty stats like Kevin Durant. It's a big game. He's putting up great numbers, but is he winning you games? I mean, it seems like he made a career in Portland of being the guy to win you games, but they didn't win enough games to do anything.
Right.
So losing him might not be as bad as the Bucks fans, I'm sure, will probably see it. But yeah, I think they'll be fine. I just don't think they'll be title contenders.
I think they're going to blow that team up. If Dame leaves, they're going to
Besides
blow it up.
Giannis, you mean, and his
Yeah,
brother?
yeah, yeah. Them two gonna be there.
Yeah.
But I think because you have to move off Brook Lopez because he can't guard anybody no more, and
Hmm.
Middleton's still in and out of the lineup. So yeah, they will do a soft reset as well, um, this off season. And like I said, they're gonna have to come off of Brook or Middleton to free up something to get somebody there. So, on that note, we're going to wrap it up for this week's episode of the Hardwood Nation podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share our content. Drop comments below. We always respond. Pat, I already know it's coming, so just hit us with it. We love you, brother. Um,
Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
mean
that
we're
is.
on different spectrums because we're enjoying the Lakers being trash, and I know he's over there just in his feelings. Don't even he doesn't even want to talk about these games.
But everyone stay safe and we are out.